Hi, I'm Gregory Phillips, and I'm going to be talking with you today about working with roster data in Network Canvas. First, I want to start off with giving you a few use cases where you might want to use roster data based on some different sources. One case you might want to use roster data is if you have an external survey that you collected data on individuals or actors using Lime Survey, Qualtrics, or another platform. You have all the information on the people you collected, but you don't know the relations between them, so you want to import them into Network Canvas and generate edges. Another one is a bounded network. You might think of a classroom or a place of work where you know everyone who's involved. You import the list of people who are working there or who are enrolled there, and you can use that to just indicate connections between people. The final is if you are using a large data set where you have a lot of people or healthcare providers or something within a jurisdiction, and you want to know how they're connected. So you can just import that from a database and look at that. Okay, so now I want to talk to you a bit about preparing your data for use within Network Canvas. Generally, you'll be using a CSV file as I have open here. What I have open here is a list of HIV service organizations in the city of Chicago. We have a number of columns here, as you can see, and this is what you would want to start off with a CSV file when you're going to import into Network Canvas, just with a few edits. The top row, as you can see, is going to be the label for each of these fields. The one we want to focus on is the abbreviated name. For Network Canvas, the column that's labeled name is the one where we'll be putting the name onto the nodes. So we were going to change this from abbreviated name to name so that when we import this into Network Canvas, this column is where the names on the nodes show up. We will probably want to change a few of these other variable names just so they're able to be read into Network Canvas. So I'm going to change this one to parent org just to make sure that it can be read into Network Canvas. And now we're all set to start working on this roster in Network Canvas. Okay, so now I want to talk to you about how to import a roster into the architect for Network Canvas. Here you can see a blank protocol we have. You want to click on Manage Assets, and you want to click on Click here to browse to select the cleaned and formatted CSV file that you want to import. You can see I have both the formatted and the raw here. I'm going to click on the formatted one, and you can see now that it's been loaded into the architect, and we can continue to work with that. Okay, so now we are going to talk about three different interfaces within Architect that you can use to import your rosters and work with them. We have the name generator with side panel, the small roster interface, and the large roster interface. Each of these have specific use cases I'll walk through once I open them. So for each of these, we've imported the CSV file we talked about earlier that has all of the HIV service organizations in the Chicagoland area. This is the side panel view. This is for when you have a few individuals or organizations that you want to look at. This allows you to just drag and drop people from this list over on the left, but it also allows you to add new people if there's someone you think might not be already included. So there you see, I just added another one. The next interface we want to talk about is the small roster interface. This is what you would want to use when you have about 100 or fewer people that you're looking at. The interface for this shows up with these cards rather than the side panel, and you can choose what attributes you want to show up. Here we've chosen the parent project name and the address. And you can just scroll through the large list and click on people. You can also filter by a certain name. So here I put in AIDS, and you can pick people from that, or you can also sort it by address. And this is another way to look at people or agencies or organizations with fewer than 100 sites. And finally, we want to talk about the large roster name generator. This is for rosters where you have over 100 people or nodes or organizations. We've used this for really large data sets, over a few thousand people, so this is very good for large data sets. In this interface, you want to click on this in the bottom right where it says add a place. And then you would search for an agency and it'll pull up here and you can just select multiple and add them all at once. And this is really a quick and easy way to work with large data sets that have lots of nodes in them. I want to thank everyone for watching this short demonstration of how to use roster data in Network Canvas. As I've shown you, CSV data can be important to use as a roster, just as long as you remember to use the name column to rename your data and to use the heading row for your variable names. Just wanted to remind you that we have 3 dedicated interfaces for roster data. We have the name generator side panel for small rosters. We have the small roster interface for roster sizes up to 100, and large roster for rosters over 100 nodes. Each of these have their different strengths and weaknesses, and we've covered those a little bit earlier. I just want to remind you again that we have dedicated documentation on all these features on our website, so please feel free to look it up at networkcanvas.com if you have any questions.